Welcome to the HVAC Grapevine, where building science and HVAC finally sit down at the same table. This is the place where ducts get judged, airflow gets measured, and industry news gets blown around harder than an undersized return air grill. If you came here just to kill time, sorry, you're about to accidentally learn something. Sit tight, laugh a little, and maybe even walk away with enough HVAC trivia to make your co-workers question your social life. The show's about to start, so strap in tighter than a zip tie on flex duct and grab a chair that doesn't rock like an out-of-balance blower wheel. Let's start the show.
He don't call, we hold the line. Answers you need, clear and fine. Experts talking truth in mind. This is the HVAC Grapevine.
What's up?
What's going on, bro?
Oh, you know it. Just another Sunday, bro. But it's another Grapevine Sunday, so it's a good Sunday.
Good to see you, bro. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Got some people in the chat. I see. We got a few people hanging out with us tonight. That's what's up.
What's up, Joe?
Man, I am uploading a video. I'm talk about last minute. I'm doing a last minute upload right now because I just thought about it and I'm like, you got to see this. Just an icebreaker for the show, right? File must be one of the following. Oh man, come on. Why is it not uploading? Hang on.
Computer issues, man. I mean,
all right. You know what? I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to upload it differently and see if I can get it to work.
You putting in the presentation spot?
Let's see. You're going to dig this. People are going to dig this. If you're an AC nerd and an airflow nerd, you're going to love it.
I mean, most people that tune into this show are definitely AC nerds. This isn't your average HVAC show. So,
all right, here we go. You ready?
What do you got here, bro?
Right, check this video out.
What?
So this is my oldest kid's birthday today, right? And we took him to iFly. Now look really close. Like, can you see my cursor on the screen?
Yeah.
There's a pedostatic tube right there, and there's one on the other side right here. Yeah. So yeah.
Dude, what is there? A huge blower door down there?
There's a ton of flow capacity, and I calculated it. So the guy was telling me, we were trying to figure it out.
But that's your kid.
Yeah, that's my kid.
That's awesome. Look at that.
Yeah. And I got to remember the calculation. You know, there's a calculation. Q equals, what is it? Q equals velocity times area. And as long as you're calculating like CFM, RPM, you're doing all your flow calculation in the right puzzle pieces, putting it together.
It's a round tube, so you got a constant, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. And so what was I saying, man? I don't know. I'm knocked off my rocker right now. My brain.
Well, you got a pedo tube because Adam from Overtime was telling me something about that. We were talking about fresh air, right? And he's like,
it was
a device.
Man, I don't know. My brain was working better today, but it's a 12-foot tube. So we were like doing diameter, and we were mathing it out, and I was correlating it to tonnage. And I want to say it was like if you were doing the calculation of like 400 CFM per ton, they were moving like 5,400 tons of airflow in that tube. I want to say is what I came up with.
Because, dude, that's a big space. How big is the diameter of that tube? It's like 10 foot.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. All I wanted to do was take my manometer and like stick it in the little doorway where
I know you carry a DG8 with you all the time. I wanted
to know what the pressure was. I didn't bring it today, but boy, if we go back, I'm bringing it, and I'm going to be like, dude, I gotta know. I gotta know what the pressure is. You couldn't really see it, but there's a walkway that's part of the tube, and the airflow is feeding into that walkway. That's where everybody sits to take their turn, and it's pressurized, and there's a big return in that room where airflow goes down.
Can you
And
can
so,
you
like,
play that again now that I wrap my head around it? I wanted to see the entrance. Is it like,
it's
dude, that's
yeah, it's
wild.
it's an entrance tube. It's open, right? And so see all these people sitting down. They're in
Right.
a little bit of they're inside the air tube channel.
Oh,
Right. And
so it's kind of like a secondary, like when you walk into a restaurant, it's got that vapor lock a little bit.
yeah, you could think of it like that, but there's a
Gotcha.
doorway all to the left, and they're all inside the wind tunnel essentially, but they're not
Right.
inside the tube going up. So,
It's like a
um,
foyer.
yeah, yeah.
And do they
So
zip that when he walks in? Does they zip that closed? They get more pressure in the tube?
no, it stays open. That
Oh, so
part,
that
stays open.
secondary room's pressurized. Okay.
Yeah,
And the velocity goes straight up.
yeah. It's
Dude,
it's
that's freaking
it was
wild.
wild. It was wild.
That's
So,
cool, man.
and if you look down from the inside, it's curved, just like almost
I
like
noticed that.
a calibrated fan or a flow chamber. It's all curved, and it's like a nozzle bank, right, going up after the fins. I mean, it's like, I don't know, well thought out, very interesting.
Yeah.
If you haven't, I'm not promoting iFly, but it was cool, man. Like, I want to go test it.
I didn't know, but we're supported by iFly. Put all donations in the super chats.
Yeah. So speaking of airflow, man, let's bring on somebody who probably knows the calculation off the top of his head better than I do, and that'd be Silas Hoeppner.
What's up, my man?
Hoeppner. The O is silent, people. That's what I know. I still can't.
Yeah, we
say
learned
it
something today.
Oh, hello.
Silas. What did you think about that, man? What do you think about? Have you been to an iFly before?
I have not 0 times. But I can tell you that is the greatest intro in the history of time.
What's that?
I love that. I love that intro.
Right on, man. Right on. It took a little work, but it was worth it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
That was wild.
That's our
man.
revamping of the show. But
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, you talking about the intro the cartoon and everything? Dude, thank you, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not my dog either.
Yeah, dude, I just wanted to do something that like every technician could relate to, you know.
Mhm.
I can't stand when people won't put their dogs away. I don't,
Yeah.
don't tell me it's nice. It looks like it wants to chop my head off. I don't want to hear it. Put your dog away. And so it was like,
I get all my
relate to
pup time. I get all my pup time at clients' houses. So we got cats
Right?
home.
Yeah. I told
So I get
Chris,
all
if
the
you're going to
good
make an
boys
intro
at
that's
home.
cartoons, I was like, do a representation for the industry that's trying to hold us back to 500 square foot per ton. And he's like, oh, I'm going to make the dog.
Yeah.
yeah, totally relatable.
No, I'm joking.
right
I
in
just
there.
made that up. I made it up.
Mr.
Chris killed
Silence.
it.
Man, so I have been on a mission since we have kicked this show back up for this season. And this season is really all about building science. And the reason I've kicked this show, this season up about building science is because, man, I get pegged with questions all the time. And I don't like diving deep into the pricing game. Man, for the most part, I've been out of the scene as a contractor for 5 years. Prices today are probably radically different than where I was 5 years ago. Man, things have changed a lot. So I don't feel like I can confidently speak on that part. So the idea behind these shows is to have you guys who are doing it, who are basically, let's just say, you're in the trenches right now, 2025, doing it. I want to hear you guys and what you guys are doing. And specifically, I'm cherry picking people who I think are good at the sales side of it. Because some of the biggest complaints I get is people who want to get into building science. Most of the people I talk to are HVAC companies who are trying to get into building science and do the right thing. And they look at it and they just see this long road of just, how do I get started into that? How do you bill for that? And they mostly get exposed to horror stories of companies who try to get into it, turns everything into a science project, and it just falls apart. It doesn't make any money, and they sell their gear off really cheap, and they're just like, I'm done with this. I don't even know if I want to do HVAC anymore. You know what I mean? They just like, I'm going to go find a whole nother business to get into. And like trying to make content to steer those guys, in the right direction. of how do you do it? And so, man, I got to ask, how does Silas do it? you know,
Well, this
What's
is a
the
great
silence?
topic
Hop
for
around.
me. Yeah, this is a great topic for me because last year I sold 2 things. So just really killing it. 2
things
sales. Yeah.
for $500,000 each.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You can either, sell one thing for 10 grand or 10,000 things for $1. And I feel like there's probably a happy medium in there somewhere. But, to your point, just exactly what you were talking about, getting into the building science and the building performance stuff, going out and buying all the cool gear. Like I'm a gear guy. I love to have the stuff. And then you're still in your regular business mode and you're trying to figure out how do I fit this stuff in? How do I communicate this to my clients without rolling their eyes in the back of their heads, that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
shout out to a buddy of mine, John Whitehead, who is Honest Heating and Cooling here, right, like probably an hour from my door. And we've had several conversations about this exact same thing because that's a human being who wants to jump in and solve the world's problems and has been baptized in the river of building science, and he's absolutely going to be there. And when I talked to him the first couple of times, he's like, man, I'm getting a flow hood. I'm going NCI, got blower door. I'm going to get all this stuff. I'm like, all right, so here's the thing. The kind of the boiled down version of that whole conversation was like, you are force sensitive. You have the ability to use building science to either help or harm. And whether that's you or your clients, TBD, but we just handed you a really big, cool laser sword and you have absolutely no Jedi training, but you're about to walk into that house and, start swinging a laser sword around. So we really need to figure out, like, do you want to be on the dark side or do you want to be on the light? And he's like, oh man, that's a great way of putting it. Like, I just need to like pump the brakes a little bit. And I'm like, yeah. And now having been on site with John a couple of times on some projects that he's brought me into, he is on the express A train to like getting there and making it and doing it the right way.
He's super excited, man.
Yeah. And
I'm really happy you guys were close, man.
Yeah.
Because he was reaching out, and
he's a fun guy.
For everybody on YouTube, I just want to let everybody know that John is in the group and Silas is in the group, in our Facebook group, and they were able to post and get a lot of feedback. It was really cool to see them two get together because that's what the Grapevine's about, man. And it was really really nice that that we're able to connect people that are in like that transition period. Like you said, man, I mean, you got this equipment, you got all these cool tools. And it's good to have somebody that's been doing it for a little longer, and just gotten through the process.
So
I've been stumbling around doing this thing for 15 years, 20 years. And like, here, you don't need for it to take you that long. Let's skip you past all the nonsense and like all the, the stumbling blocks that I have tripped over, and get going like right to all of a sudden we can help people out. So
right to the meat and potatoes, man. The same here. I stumbled and kind of got slow, did things on my own house. Where'd you guys run into over there?
John and I?
Yeah.
I think John has sent me 2 or 3 clients a week for the last month.
Whoa.
And I'm starting to figure out like, how am I going to continue to help John? I need more Silases.
Right. Dude,
or actually I just probably need some more people that are actually productive, like fewer Silases, more productive people. So yeah, it's been cool. Like we've been doing a little bit of everything. Awesome. He's sent me some clients that have big problems like construction defect, mold, that kind of thing. And then clients who just like want to get out there and figure out like, hey, where's my house? I did a bunch of work to it. I know where I started, where are we at today? And then I got a couple things I want to make a little better. So, and everything in between. Yeah.
Silas, if I will say it's probably easier to walk in a home where you're being referred from someone like John, right? Because somebody's kind of teed you up. But if someone hasn't teed you up and they find you, I'm just kind of curious. I haven't really asked anyone this specific question, but what does the conversation start like? And let me lay down just a little bit of homework here. if someone calls me and I own an air conditioning company, right? It's like I'm getting your name, your number, all that stuff, a description of the problem. Okay, we'll
Mhm.
send somebody out. Maybe it's a company where they do a 2-hour time block or whatever, right? There's this whole process that's been thought out heavily to try to make the most of that call. How does that work for you in building science?
Yeah. So the way we have it set up, and I guess I'm not real sure like exactly how unique or novel it is that we do this, but we have sort of what I would call like traditional, residential HVAC process where folks are calling in, hey, I need a new furnace or I need a new air conditioner, or I got this problem or that problem. And we'll try to book out a service technician or a comfort advisor or, whatever the call seems to be about on the intake, and ask a few questions, just try to get to like, what's the goal here?
Mhm.
And then depending on how that goes, some people just come right out and say like, yeah, I need, load calculations, or I need a blower door test. I need air
Right.
quality testing. Like that's easy. That gets kicked to me. And I get an appointment scheduled up for those folks. Otherwise it's kind of like, technician shows up out there. Are things mechanically and electrically functional? And then they're going to have a certain level of expertise. Is this the right equipment for the house? Is the duct system match the equipment? That kind of stuff. And if they can kind of, kick the can, move the ball down the field a little bit, like a traditional call, and achieve success that way, they're going to do that. If they start to get into like, oh, hey, I've got rooms that are uncomfortable, or I've got moisture accumulation somewhere, or it starts to get into like, hey, everything seems to look okay, but the problems you're experiencing would suggest that there's something else going on, then they'll kind of be like, ooh, this kind of sounds like a Silas house or an airflow problem, or a, whatever it is. And then it kind of gets kicked over into my category, the building performance kind of category. And then from there, I kind of start my process. So a little of it depends on why the person called to begin with. And a lot of times I end up getting the benefit of our technicians saying, hey, we have this guy and he has all these cool tools and he asks a lot of really good questions. And we think he'll be able to help you better than just a traditional kind of once over with the eyeballs and the, just functionality of the equipment. So I kind of get that benefit right off the bat of having somebody else say, hey, this is a guy that knows this stuff, specifically.
Yeah.
Um,
I totally agree. When somebody refers me, if I feel like the conversation's already been had, a little bit of the dialogue has been, the groundwork's been laid, and I have to go into the details. It's like, okay, I'm going to test. We're going to get these measurements, then we'll talk.
So one of the things that I learned, that I feel like I've learned over my career, is like really early on, you learn all the building science stuff. You're reading every article. I can't even tell you how many hours I spent on buildingscience.com, the Energy Vanguard, Green Building Advisor, like all these great, places for information, the Energy Conservatory's website, everywhere you go to find that really good information. Just read and read and read. And you soak up all this stuff. Yeah, there you go. I would show mine right now, but I actually lent it out to Austin, our service manager. So he's another guy who's really hungry to kind of dig into the building side.
Dude, it's like a reference book almost,
Oh, for sure. I feel like when you first learn this stuff, you want to get out there and just start saying all the things, like, oh, it really matters if you right size the equipment, and, airflow is really good. And it's not just about Delta T, and you're going through and you're just saying all the stuff that you now know, because it's really cool stuff and it makes a lot of sense. And it fills in all the gaps, the missing information that has been kind of the crux of the problems forever. And people are just like, I don't know what any of that stuff means. I don't care. I need you, like I'm worried about my bedroom. So like you're talking about smaller furnace, and my bedroom's cold. So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so I found that like, it's not about telling people what, how many places you've worked, how long you've been doing it. But like, if you can communicate that, a lot of stuff, and that you can help them with their problem because of all this stuff via the questions that you're asking, and the active listening that you're doing. Because I feel like there's a lot of folks that have service company people come into their house and lots of bad experiences happening. Just like the dude was late. He hates his life. It's hot outside. He's uncomfortable. And that,
He's
like,
got to
you
go
can,
to another call in 15 minutes.
yeah, he's got 5 or 6 more calls to do. And like, he could really care less about, oh, your bedroom's a little bit uncomfortable upstairs. And, the dog's, biting his leg and everything else,
Yeah.
So like, the long story short there, like, if you can really start to dig into the questions, get them telling you what their concerns are. And like, it's great for me because this is my jam. Like, I love problem solving. And in order to solve the problem, you have to know what all the pieces look like. You have to know what all the variables are.
Right.
And in the past, it was all about, what thing can I test? What can I learn about this building? What can I learn about this house?
Okay.
And
Right.
and as important as all those things are, if you don't know what success looks like, I mean, you could find all kinds of cool stuff about the house, but if the client doesn't see the value in it or doesn't understand how it pertains to their problem, you could be missing the boat big time from a business standpoint. And also just, hey, if you want to be helpful, help people be healthy and safe and comfortable and energy efficient in their house, you got to find out what matters to them.
Yeah, you really got to talk to the customer. I hear what you're saying. Like, you really got to, you got to listen more than you actually speak to them. Yeah.
The customer interview, right? Like, that's your go-to number one. So you're saying in your line of work, there's a lead in typically always happening, right? Somebody's kind of introducing you, set you somewhat like on a pedestal, right? They're saying, hey, this is the guy who deals with that. So the homeowner has some level of like, man, this guy was referred. He must know, a great deal about this sensitive subject, right? So maybe there's a little bit of respect that the homeowner's giving you. That's like, they're the expert here, right? It's not like coming through the phone book trying to figure it out. And then you're saying there's a customer interview, right? So lead in customer interview. Let's say you take in that interview. Do you have like a holistic approach to every home that it's like, hey, these steps are mandatory. These steps are not mandatory, but preferred in these situations? Or are you like, nope, these are my steps. This is what I do. Every house will get at least this, or every house is going to get more than that. And this is what it looks like,
Yeah. So I have kind of created some different pathways for, how best can I meet the client's needs? Because some people will call you up and they're like, hey, I got all these problems. And then you'll say, okay, well, I can help you with a consultation. It's $500 and I'm going to come out and do some stuff. And they're like, oh, hold on there, cowboy. What do you mean $500? You're not going to fix anything. And it's like, well, yeah, if you lead off with that, and even if they have you up on the pedestal or whatever, and they're not ready for that, it's going to kind of be like, I'm not going to waste $500 and not even get like towards the solution. Yeah. Whereas other people, you'll start to talk to them and they've got all these really like, major problems that they're really concerned about. And they're like, presumably you have a fee to come out and do all these diagnostics in our house. And, we're ready to do that. And then you'll tell them like, hey, I think it's going to take this much. Here's the things that we're going to be doing. And they're like, oh, that's better than I thought, or oh, that's more than I wanted to spend, but I think we need to do it. So there's kind of that first hurdle is when you're talking with folks is like, how big of a deal is the problem? And like, what beginning steps to the solution do you want to recommend? So I have kind of the luxury or the benefit in our business model where if it's getting kind of kicked over to me, it's already kind of an escalated situation. This isn't just like, hey, I need a quick quote for an AC replacement. It's like, hey, I got some other problems or some stuff going on. And there's an expectation of a deeper level, but sometimes I'll get through, kind of that intake conversation with folks and asking what the problems look like and what they think. One of my favorite questions asked is like, in your gut, do you think this is more of a house problem or more of an HVAC problem or something else? And then I just sit there and I shut up because it's really important for them to tell me that answer, not just, for the sake of asking it.
A little Columbo.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really interesting. And I've said this for a long time, going back, 10, 15 years. When
Mhm.
people call in to a home performance person or an energy auditor or whatever, like 50% of people say, I got all these problems, my heating and cooling sucks. And the other 50% of people call in, they say, I got all these problems, my insulation or my windows suck. And like 100% of those people are probably right. And it's to what degree does the building suck versus the HVAC? And then like what things can be done about it? Like when you're into an existing building, you've got different levels of like, hey, we want to fix these problems, but we don't want to tear the house apart to do it. Like, well, that's really good information for me,
Right.
because if the problem that you're telling me is you can't get any airflow to the second floor and you've got one duct that goes up there and everything's finished and you're not willing to tear things apart, like we're probably looking at supplemental equipment. We're probably looking at some other things. So like, I'm going to walk them through that path, with that understanding. But if they come back and they tell me like, well, we've already added a bunch of insulation, we've already done all this caulking and stuff. Like we went to the utilities website and we did all the things they said, and like, oh, and how did that work for you?
Mhm.
Right.
It's I think a really important question too, because people, I think, generally want to imagine that when they spend time, when they spend effort and resources to do something, they really want that to have a benefit. And so if you can get somebody to admit to you that they just spent time, effort, energy, money on, say, adding insulation or air sealing something, and they say like, it really didn't help at all, like that's a really good clue before I even show up at the house. Like, yeah, I need to look over that stuff and make sure that something didn't get missed or whatever, but like there's a good odds that I can spend some time on the HVAC.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the interview is really crucial. Now that we're talking about it, it's like I'm rethinking the last couple home performance jobs I did. And it's really crucial because you got to know what they did, what didn't work, and it saves a lot of time going around the house and doing that. But for a lot
Yep.
of the guys that are watching, you've got a blower door, you've got duct leakage equipment, you've got true flow grid. Just to kind of recap, tell everybody, all the tools you have in the arsenal.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll preface all this answer by saying that I was really, really fortunate and lucky to have stumbled, bass backwards into the HVAC performance and airflow testing stuff like 15 years ago. There was absolutely zero design in me leading myself this way in my career. And you talk about standing on the shoulders of giants. Like I kind of owe my entire career to like all the big name, building science and HVAC folks that everybody sees everywhere online, and, all the standard important stuff. But then even here locally, really good friend of mine, Adam Welch, has Vertex Home Performance here in Polk City, Iowa. He and I have worked together at like 3 or 4 different companies. And we kind of just keep like ending up at the same places doing the same cool stuff. And
Awesome.
early in my career, just coming out of the spray foam insulation industry and getting into like home energy ratings and like energy audits and stuff like that, he took me over and we did a bunch of testing in Cedar Rapids or near Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And he basically taught me how to do all of the all the NCI HVAC performance testing before I even knew what a furnace, how it worked. I didn't know anything about the refrigeration cycle. So I got to figure out how to do static pressure and airflow testing as my intro to HVAC.
Right
Wow.
on, man.
And,
Yeah.
That's
and I'm
cool
kind of
because I mean, if you
filling in all
learn-
the stuff backwards from there, basically.
no,
So you're
not
saying-
really, because you could be an HVAC guy for 10 years and not know static, bro. So
So you're saying like your career before you got into HVAC, you were already in NCI classes, just stacking them, going through them.
No. However, Adam, the company that we worked for, had already gotten into NCI and had started learning a bunch of stuff and had implemented, whole system performance with flow hoods and static pressure and airflow at the equipment, airflow and psychrometrics at the registers. And it had gotten pretty advanced. And so to me, walking into all of a sudden the Synergy auditing energy performance company, who also had this kind of like holy grail of why don't why don't, like, when we have a 95% efficient furnace and a 16 SEER air conditioner, and like the blower door test came out good, and the insulation, the pre-drywall inspection, everything was good. How come the bills don't match up with what we expect them to? Or how come the customer's uncomfortable? Like, what's up with that? Well, it turns out, and you guys may not know this, but the HVAC system is more than just a box with a miles per gallon rating. And so you can go buy the one with the highest miles per gallon, but if it doesn't get all put together right and all the parts chosen to match each other and blah, 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 and then commissioned, did we set the fan speeds? Did we charge the system properly? Did we adjust the combustion? All the stuff that you do from that point on affects the actual performance. So it's not a refrigerator. It didn't all get put together in a factory and you just plug it in and it works.
Right. It's not a window unit. You can't just plug that sucker in and get X amount of BTUs.
Even if it's a house that gets put together in a lab, doesn't mean it's going to get put out on the ground and work.
Amen.
Right.
So every single house, even the spec home, copy and paste once, over and over again. One of those houses, one of those houses was insulated and finished up at 4:30 p.m. on Friday afternoon, and everybody there was waiting for beer 30, and something got forgot, something got missed, something got done too fast, somebody didn't care, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So anyway, that whole thing, to just go back and say, like, I had this opportunity where we're looking at measuring the actual airflow, measuring the actual static pressure, measuring the real world BTUs, not only created by the equipment, but also delivered into the rooms. And then matching that up with, like, oh, well, this is starting to make sense. No wonder Billy doesn't ever sleep in his bedroom in the northwest corner. He's getting 13 CFM, and it's half the amount of heat that the other registers are getting closer to the furnace. So, like, Billy's got icicles hanging off of his nose. And everybody's like, but this is a brand new Energy Star rated house with high efficiency equipment, all kinds of insulation, like, WTF, why the face?
Right. Dude, that's amazing. So basically, you got a friend of yours going to an NCI class, and he had kind of like a mission statement. It was like pushing it and teaching you what he learned in there. So the guys at NCI would love to hear that story, bro. That's pretty cool.
For sure. And I say this stuff out loud as much as I possibly can, because I have a tremendous amount of respect for what those guys are doing. And that's anybody that gets on, Grapevine on Facebook or HVAC School or wherever, and they're like, hey, I'm trying to learn more. What do I do first? Like, my path was learn about airflow and static pressure. And I think it makes everything else kind of make more sense and maybe even a little easier to understand, just like airflow before charge. Like, if we can start to figure this stuff out, and put it in the right order, everything just gets easier. So, that's my, I'm sponsored by NCI tonight.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're good guys, man. David Richardson, he's like, I've been doing home performance for like 15 years. And I'm like, really? Yeah. I mean, there's basically testament right there, man.
So we had a utility program here in Iowa, way back in.
Hold on, Chris. You have a shadow? Look at that guy. Oh, there's latency in that shadow, dude. Is that Ty Brenneman?
What's up, Branneman, man? Ty Branneman.
What's up?
In the flesh,
dude. How you doing, bro?
You're talking about building science, so like,
I don't need to be here anymore, man.
Yeah, get out of here, Chris. Can you please bring Chica on?
Yes, Chica.
Chica.
Did somebody say Branneman 3 times and Ty just appeared?
Ty Brenneman. He's all over the country, bro. How does he do it? Does he have a spaceship for a van?
I love it.
Oh no, that's Johnny Supertech. I'm sorry.
He's here, man. Look, he's got the grit shirt on. I mean, like, we're doing this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, what are you doing up there, bro?
To that point, I think it's time for a game.
It's time to play. What's that noise?
What is that noise?
Did you hear that?
What in the is that noise?
What's that noise?
All right, Silas. Since Ty Branneman just showed up right behind me, we're going to kickstart a game. And here's how it works. We're going to play it once or twice. at my discretion. We'll see how it goes. And you have to name that noise, and the people in the chat get to help you. Okay. So we're going to give you a 1 minute countdown. I'll play it twice.
I got
So
both of
you're
my
out
friends
there-
in the chat.
Oh, there we go, baby. All right. All right. Here goes round one. If you're if you're watching with the show, help Silas out. Ready? Woo! Not much to work on there, is there?
That's a tight one, bro.
All right. That's a tight one. That's a tight one.
Regis, can I get a lifeline?
Oh
Hit me
man.
again.
Let me see. Yeah, let's play it again. Here we go. Here we go. Silas, I like you. You're gonna get a third round. You ready? Here we
Okay.
go. I mean, you can, dude. You got to have that one. Come on, come on. It's an easy
So here-
one for home performance guy.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. That sounds a lot like air moving. And I'm going to say, like, I kind of feel like I'm getting set up with a softball here. Is
Yeah.
that a blower door running?
Oh, I knew you were gonna guess that.
Dang
You know, let's go to the judges. Not even close, rookie. Oh man, sorry. Not a
Bro,
not a blower.
I was
door.
thinking the same thing because I couldn't figure it out either, bro. I was like, default to blower door.
All right, or here's the video from the man himself who donated this video tonight. Oh wait, that's not the right video. It's this video.
So you always want to seal around the fan because you're going to make sure that we're pulling it from the room outside. Otherwise, it's just going to recirculate all that humidity in a very dark climate. And we don't want that because we don't want to have any kind of growth. So making sure every fan's running and getting that steam and moisture out of the house.
Bathroom exhaust fan, Silas. Bathroom exhaust fan, man. But you
pretty
were
close, bro.
You knew it was a fan running.
That's
You
right.
knew it was
Yeah.
a fan running. That was impressive.
Could have
Very
been
good.
passive
You-
house, 50 CFM of leakage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So had I been able to use the proper instrumentation and hold it up in front of the airflow, I could have told you without looking.
Next
But,
round, baby.
By,
Next
by
round.
sound, I still got some work to do, I guess.
All right, Silas. So because you were a good sport, as always, you get to make a plug. Plug away, baby. Tell us what your audience needs to hear.
Oh man, I'm going to tell you right now. This has been a crazy summer for us at Modern Heating and Air Conditioning. We have been getting a ton of calls on humidity, and I don't know. I've got 5 or 6 active mold problems cases right now, and I feel like in the last 2 or 3 months, I've gotten more of those kinds of like serious concern calls and consults and investigations than I have, in the last 2 or 3 summers combined. And we've had a ton of rain, and it feels like every time we get rain and then, things start to dry out, we get a couple of weeks and then it rains again. It's like crazy. Like the soil's saturated here. And I think what it's doing, truthfully, is exposing a lot of bad practices. So there's a lot. You guys know there's a lot of
You guys getting corn
oversized
sweat over there?
Oh yeah, man. We're just like the capital of corn sweat. I am the corn sweat king over here. Me and Josh Abraham in Omaha, you guys know, like he's bragging up corn sweat all the time. We're swimming in it. But I think it's exposing all these problems. Oversized air conditioning equipment, poorly commissioned equipment. Ironically, I feel like as often as we have really high static and not enough airflow, we also have, 3-ton drive on a 2-ton AC and just nobody switched it off a high fan speed. So now I got 1100 CFM blowing across a 2-ton coil, and they're like, yeah, like, I guess it's cool in here, but like, we're just, our foreheads dripping water, and so's our duct. Yeah. We're just not doing any latent removal. And so like all these things are big enough problem anyway. And then you dump moisture on top of moisture and corn sweat. And it's just been wild this year. And
Yeah, I thought
truthfully,
Nikki Kruger
I'm
was
looking
making
forward.
that up, man. I was in the live at the symposium. I really thought, I was like, why is she making this joke? I was like, I don't even get it.
Yeah. Who are these corn people?
Who are these corn sweat? What?
Silas.
But where
Yeah.
can people find you on the internet? You on Google website?
Yeah, so
It's a good
I'm on
place.
Instagram as Airspace Archaeology. That's like a thing that I made up. I'm like the first and only airspace archaeologist on the planet. You know, fun fact, if you try to do something fun and cool in your LinkedIn page, like airspace archaeologist, I can't tell you how many times I've had recruiters reach out to me and be like, hey, you are like the perfect candidate for our archaeologist position that we have opening up. And I'm like, I'd love to try that out just for fun and see what happens.
Oh, bro. I love LinkedIn. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's
Okay. So at the end of every round of every show, when we play the game, I like to give a shout out to someone we like to back, and that's the Grit Foundation. So y'all give me a minute. I'm not going to talk about it today because I wouldn't do it justice. So Ty, tell them about the Grit Foundation if they're watching.
Oh man, the Grit Foundation is absolutely awesome. We get to work with kids and get kids excited about the trades. Everybody says we need more people in the trades. We need to get young people excited about the trades. We need to save people from college and get more interest in the trades. Who's doing something about it? So Brian Orr came up with this really great idea, started a Grit Foundation, and we're getting kids excited about the trade between 12 and 17 before they're going off to college, before they're making these lifelong decisions. Hey, let's get people an experience. Let them try this out. Let them try working with the screw gun and screws and brazing and solder and PVC, all these things. Let them have an experience with it. So yeah, we're actually doing something about it. So I think that's awesome. But the second part of that is we get to teach people who've forgotten about these skills, who forgot about, using the drill, all these skills that we've taken for granted. We thought, oh man, we were just born with this. We've done it for so long. It just came natural. We realize it doesn't come natural. Using a drill properly, how to properly press that screw. And all of those things are things that we had to learn. So when we're teaching it to somebody else, that's a big lift for us, showing how to teach it. But we also teach the mentors how to use a Socratic method, teaching with curiosity. So as much as it's exciting getting kids excited about the trades, it's also really exciting seeing mentors learn a different way of teaching, learning how to teach with curiosity, learning how to teach with making mistakes and let people do stuff with their hands and then help them along the way. So I think it's absolutely awesome. Every camp has been a little different, but they've always been just really incredible. And so it's a really awesome opportunity. It's a lot of work putting one together. If you're going to be a host, it's a lot of work. If you're going to be a mentor, it's a lot of work. But it's worth it. This is how we change the future. So I'm super excited about it. I could talk about this all day long, but if you're interested in it, go to the website.
Right on, Ty.
That was awesome.
Man.
So fun fact.
Mike Rose happy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I was
talking about.
I was at the Meet the Teacher night at my kids' school the other day, and they have a program here locally called IJAG. It's Iowa Jobs After Graduation. And I got to meet his teacher, and I'm like, hey, man, have you heard of the Grit Foundation? And he was like, no, this is my first year. Like, I don't know anything, and I want to know everything. And so we had that conversation. And I was like, hey, I'd be happy to come in and embarrass the heck out of my kid, and talk about what it is that I do, because it's this really cool, like, marriage of scientific stuff and working hard, getting your hands dirty, crawling through people's crawl spaces. And then I also get to go, be on cool podcasts, and I get to talk to all these cool people who know a bunch of stuff. Like, it would be awesome. And he's like, oh my God, that would be so cool. And then I found out a week later, I sent all that information off, and a week later, for personal reasons, he had to step down. So I'm going to have to figure out who is now in charge of that program and go have a conversation and see if we can get that started back up again. So I don't know what happened there, and hopefully everything's good with him. But if you guys have opportunities for that, in your marketplace, those kinds of folks are begging for community involvement. They want to have people from, contractors and stuff come out. And I think sometimes there's just kind of a who's going to do it? So step up and do it. You can do it. So
I just saw that pop up. Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. Awesome stuff, guys. All right. Silas. Back to it, bro. Back to it.
Mm.
There we go. Let's hit it hard. Can you take us down a project that you may have worked on recently? I'd like to hear, to start to finish. I'd love to hear, like, take me down the sales side and then take me down the technical side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how you did it.
Yep. So I think it would probably be best to like talk about less the investigation side. Like, hey, we got crazy, like trying to find some weird problem after a million people have been here, and more down kind of your traditional call. Like, hey, our upper floor is 10 degrees hotter in the summertime. We have some other concerns. There's, higher humidity than we would expect. We just had this work done to our house. We just had a new furnace and air conditioner put in. We just had insulation added, and it's none of it's better. So depending on how that comes in, you handle that intake call. I like to just schedule like a 10 or a 15-minute phone call when I'm not in somebody's house and I can pay really good attention and just kind of ask, do you have problems in these categories? Do you have any concerns with health and safety? Do you have any concerns with indoor air quality or durability of the building? Do you have any concerns with comfort? Do you have any concerns with moisture accumulation or even energy efficiency? What are the main problems? And the spoiler alert right away is people will physically call you and say, I need an energy audit. And then when you ask them the question, is energy a problem at your house? Like, oh no, our bills are like pretty cheap. And in fact, I don't even know how much they are because my wife pays it and I don't know.
Dude, I get that all the time. You too?
Yeah, for sure. And so it's kind of like, okay, so you're asking me for an energy audit, but like you really don't care about the energy. And they're like, well, I mean, if there's a way where I could shave some, usage or shave some I'm like interested in that, but that's not really what I'm after. And it took me embarrassingly longer than I would have hoped to like figure that out. Cause I just always assume people are calling up because they want to cut their energy bill in half and get a payback and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So when they call in, I try to get at least a general idea of like, how many different problems are we talking about here? How big of a deal is it to you? If you were to score this on a 0 to 10, where 0 is like you couldn't care less and 10 is the worst thing you could imagine, where on that scale are you? And that's really for me. If they tell me like, yeah, it's, 10 degrees different on my upper floor, it's a 3, they'd be like, what else you got going?
Yeah.
And if they're like, no, that's about it. I'm like, okay, well,
great interview process, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that cuts out a lot. I mean, you're not going to dive in there and throw everything you got at it. If it's a 3,
sure.
I totally get it. Man.
Here's the deal. It's a little bit triage because, you know, in our business, I'm the guy doing the phone calls and the sales. I'm the guy going out and doing the testing and the evaluation. Then I'm coming back and writing up whatever recommendations and estimates.
Yeah.
So like there is legitimately a value to that time of like, if this person really doesn't need my help, they would be better off if I kick them over to somebody else that could be more in tune with what they're looking for. Even if that's somebody out of our organization, you know, I'll kick things over to my friend Adam, who does very similar work that I do. He does a lot of HVAC design for hire. But somebody might say like, hey, I need to come out and have somebody test the specific thing. And if I'm just booked out, like, hey, Adam's got all that equipment, he can do it.
Or if you got clients that actually have health hazards like mold in the house and you know when to schedule, and that's cool. But you're not talking about Adam Muffich, are you?
No. Although Adam and I have been able to do some kind of coordination on a couple of different things, some work that a house that he was able to go look at too. So that's been super cool too. Kind of getting
everybody's all connected. I'm alone here in Florida. What's going on? He's got ties over there at his house. He's hanging out with NCI Adam. Like, come on. Ty's got to move down to Florida.
You live down the street from Brian Orr, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's true. That's true. But he a little busy, man.
He's got some stuff going on.
Symposium is only like an hour and a half. So all right, you got me, bro.
Yeah. I like what you did with the interview. I'm replaying it in my mind, and you short circuited what some people may take hours to have conversations to do the whole interview. Right. And it sounds like you've compressed that down to, hey, let's play a game. and let's make this
Mhm.
fast and rank it from 0
Yeah.
to 10. But as you described that game to me in my mind, there was still empathy in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I
Mhm.
care, but I can't give you hours of my time. So let's get
Yep.
straight to it, right? Let's rank these things, how much they care to you. So I really, really enjoyed that part.
That is cool.
It's really important to me because especially just, in my personal kind of journey through this is like, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of practice to learn the things that we learn. And the tools are, you got to have a lot of tools, and they're not inexpensive tools. They have to be calibrated. They have to be, replaced every once in a while, repaired, whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
You got all these things that you have to cover. So like, could I over the phone figure out some stuff and like maybe even solve a problem over the phone, or go out and do a free quote and say, here's some stuff that, that
Right.
I've seen in other houses like this, and you could do that. Yeah, I could do that. And sometimes I do. Sometimes that's the answer is like, I don't want to pay any money right now. Let's get a free quote figured out and I'll see what I can see and we can try some stuff. And we'll see how that works for you. Or if you're ready to take the next step, we can get in and start digging in and doing some testing.
Yeah. I have a question for you. When when I had Bryn Cooksey on a couple weeks ago, and Bryn kind of attack the blower door conversation as like, hey, I kind of bundle it all in, if I, like I'm going to do it regardless because I need to have that information. And then he kind of makes it part of the process. It's overhead essentially is the way he kind of looks at it in his business model.
It's wild. I'm still racking my brain.
Yeah, it's smart. And so, but it's not the only way to play the game. So I'm curious, do you do a different strategy? Like if the people are listening, like, man, I want to hear another strategy. Cause there's different strategy that works for different people. Do you take a different approach? Are you like, hey, I'm testing, I'm going in, I'm going to do all of this homework, whether you approve this job or not, I've got to do this and you've got to pay for it. Is there like a different model that you use?
And did you hear Bryn's take on it?
So the model, so I got to watch Bryn's presentation at the symposium last year. It was awesome, and I'm pretty sure that I'm the president of the unofficial Bryn Cooksey fan club. And if somebody else already has that title, I'll fight him.
Dude,
for
he's
it.
he's awesome, man. He's awesome.
Yeah. Bryn's awesome.
So you are
and I
familiar
keep
with that.
saying this out loud to people is like, I need to like figure out how to get up in his business a little bit because with all the training and the things that he's able to do and to scale the building performance and the building science stuff into, especially an HVAC business, but a whole home performance business model, it kind of blows my mind. And so that he's a dude I would love to learn more from, like, on a deep level.
You should do like an undercover boss, but not be the boss. Like go in there as like put an application in, put a wig on.
For sure. Big wig, show up there and just, pretend like I don't know anything. Won't be that hard. But yeah, so again, kind of going back to like, I'm the building performance guy here. So there's only as much resource as there is time to do it. And so we definitely are, splitting jobs off into like, hey, this one's pretty cut and dry. These people have been really pleased with what they have going on now. They just need a new one, or it's broken down and needs to be fixed. And like, I don't have a lot of dealing with that unless somebody on my team calls and says, hey, this thing's throwing me for a loop. What do you think about it?
Okay. Gotcha. So a little different process.
So, but then,
I think
a little bit different process.
You're filtering heavily is what you're saying. Like you're basically saying, hey, before we get into building science, it's being filtered through the HVAC side of the business heavily before it gets to you. That way, everything doesn't turn into a gunshot move right at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. We have definitely, I would say it's a minimum MERV 13 filter for people getting to the building science part or just going straight to the HVAC. So we're getting a lot of that particles out of there.
Nice.
Terrible jokes.
I got it. Mike,
dude,
I'm staring at you, but you're like, what happened there? I got you.
Yeah.
It took me 2 seconds, but I picked it up.
Yeah, you're welcome. You guys are so welcome for that.
That's awesome.
So when I'm talking to people, like nobody calls, or I shouldn't say nobody, very few people call and say like, I want you to come test stuff. They call me and they say, I want you to fix things. So like, if I can help them fix the problem, I don't have to test anything. Great. Although I love having load calcs. I love having static pressure and airflow. I love to be able to predict what the airflow is going to be. So like all of these things make my life so much easier.
Right.
But I can't just go into every house and say like, I'm going to do all this testing for you for free. And then in hopes that you think I'm better than the other guy, and then that you're willing to pay for it. While that, I don't think that's necessarily a bad business model. It doesn't work for me right now. And it has worked in the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years. I've been doing this deal where it's like, hey, I can help you get to the answers that you need to build an HVAC specification, get the right size equipment, find out if it's house problems that are bugging you, whatever it is. But there's value in that. And I believe there's value in that. And if you don't believe there's value in that, I'm not going to waste my time or yours.
Right.
You may have better luck with our standard kind of quoting process, or you may be a really good candidate for my competitor. Because they're going to come out and they're going to do the dog and pony, and it's going to take 45 minutes. You're going to have an estimate today, and you might be able to save 30% on your bid if you schedule it for tomorrow. It just kind of depends.
I love that line, bro.
You could even get
$25K
a free
right now,
furnace
but
if you buy the air conditioner today.
If you do it today, I'll take off $5,000. I love it. Yeah.
So, and whatever.
I hear you, man.
The sales and marketing manipulations are as old as time. And if that's part of your business model, I'm not like looking down on that. It's just not something that we do here.
And it's not something that what I'm getting, it's not something that you chose for your business. And that's kind of like what I'm hearing around the community. Everybody has their way they go about things, the way they feel fit. Yeah. So I got some guys in our group, they go, all right, you've got a problem with this or that, like hot bedroom, you've got high electric bills, you're $1 a square foot or $2 a square foot. We'll throw everything at it. So it sounds like you take a little bit more of a filtered MERV 13 approach. Okay.
Yep.
I like that. That's cool.
So
anyway, once we go ahead.
No, you go, man. You go.
I was just going to say, once we can kind of figure out like how important is this problem, the way I really like to frame it with folks is like, this process really takes out all the persuasion. Like I don't have to convince them to do anything. And so people are like, well, that's a terrible approach for salesperson. It's like, not really. How many times have you heard somebody say like, people love to buy, but they hate to be sold, or vice versa, whatever it is. Like,
yeah,
those people we know that they're looking for that solution. The last thing they need is like me sitting across the table. Like, how's this number look? And then like, well, let me go talk to my manager, like, nobody likes that process. Nobody wants you in their house till midnight. But more and more people are realizing like, hey, there's a lot more to this stuff than just like, how big is the box I'm putting in the basement? What brand is on it? How many sear points? How many sear points is it going to take for me to get Bobby's room comfortable? Like, well, I don't know, maybe 8 or maybe like 25, but it's probably not going to have anything to do with sear points.
What are you using for load calc software these days?
So I'm using a little bit of everything. I've used Conduit. I've been using Amply. I'm an old school dude. I'm still using RightSoft. I've got
not old school.
Maybe 2 or 3
from the old school.
Yeah. Well, I've got 2 or 3 times of that 10,000 hour, expertise thing on RightSoft. So it's really hard for me to walk away from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man. I will. Yeah. Once you get deep into a design software where you actually are doing manual Ds it's really hard to let it go.
I totally
so
agree.
many hours to get good at it, and then to let it go is hard for sure.
Yep. So I'm kind of doing a hybrid version of like the LiDAR scanning, and then coming back, several of my jobs I'm getting in there and I'm doing some, maybe not like true manual D work, but I'm getting in there and I'm drawing in duct system geometry and like where things connect up, because then I can figure out, I need to send 800 CFM to that side of the house, and I need to send 600 to that side of the house. how close are we? I'm
Right.
not going to spend a lot of time like trying to dial in exactly what size duct goes everywhere. Most of the time I can't even see all of it anyway, because we're in basement country here. People are finishing and living in their basements. So like I might only be able to see the ductwork that's in the mechanical room.
Right.
And sometimes not even that, because they're starting to drywall mechanical rooms here now too, for fire code and other things.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting. Yeah.
It's a cool time to be in building performance with the 3D scans, man. With Amply.
it's awesome. Like, here's the thing. Like at first I was kind of like, oh man, this kind of takes away, it kind of felt like AI, right? Like, so like this kind of takes away this thing that I'm really good at that makes me different than somebody else, that it might take them 4 or 5 hours to plug in all this information into a software, where I can do it in like 30, 40 minutes and get that information out and be different than the other guy. And then that kind of erased that difference. But like, if I really am being honest with myself, that's really not a reason for somebody to buy me instead of something else, is how fast I can get a bunch of information done for free and then hope that they like mine best. Is like, I need to use that information to my advantage and plug that in a meaningful way to make it fit what the client was telling me is the problem. Nobody cares about CFM. Nobody cares about BTUs. Nobody cares about tons, outside of the fact that they might say like, well, the other 2 guys gave me a bid for a 4-ton unit. Like, oh, okay. So what am I doing here?
I think what you're saying, man, is it's amazing to have data, but data's a tool. Data doesn't sell the job.
Yeah.
You got to have the
That's
data.
what I'm hearing.
Data plus the, everything that comes along with it. Sympathy for the client, an actual care factor about this home and doing a good job has to be conveyed with data in your hands. And you combine those and, you've got a better situation.
He really wants to get to the root of the problem. That's what I hear, man. He could care less about selling XYZ. He wants to get to it. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what Russ has got with Quick Model too. I saw that post and we got to give him a call one day.
We got to get him
interested to see.
Yeah.
So we just had a question come in. Interested to know if you tested the conduit accuracy against RightSoft. Yes, I have. I've got lots and lots of houses, a few blocks away from where I live with load calcs already. And like people that I know, like, hey man, great to talk to you again. It's been a couple of years. Do you care if I come to your house and scan it?
Who says that? Like maybe 5 guys in the grapevine in the country. And that's about it.
And they're like, oh, Silas is up to something again. He's being weird. So I did that. I just, when I started scanning houses, I was just like, hey, I've got the one I live in. I've got my parents' house across town that I've got a load calc on. So I could go do, I don't know, there's probably 10 or 12 houses that I did that I could just look immediately. And I mean, garbage in, garbage out with everything. So like, as I'm scanning, it did a great job of scanning square footage and volume and all the things that it scans. And then I put in all the information, essentially the same way that I did it. And the math was the same.
It was math. Me too, man. I went to my brother's house. I did my house again for the 5th time. I think I ran every software through my house. I got trust issues, But and then Amply, I had to make sure that I put where the ducts were located. That changes it a lot. Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Same here.
Very
garbage in, garbage out.
The same problems that I saw when people would call me up and be like, hey, I'm starting to use RightSoft or whatever software program to do these load calcs. Could you come and show me how to do this? And we'd go through and look at one of their files and it'd be like, oh, hey, there's, you got 20,000 BTUs of crappy windows in here that there's no way these windows are that crappy. And some of that is like the experience of working at a home energy rating company and being able to see like, hey, in 2008, all the double pane, wood windows that were going in were a 0.35 window. So now I can have some context with the age of the house. What's the window look like? Has it been replaced? And like get way closer than some of the default stuff that's in there. And that's,
and you got blower doors on those houses, right?
Bingo. So then blower door information, the other big, the big variable. So,
I would, when I was doing RightSoft, I used to keep the little load meter with the pie charts up a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'd watch those pies. And that would be my trick to know if I really missed something bad.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
great
the
point.
cool thing
And
about
then it's like
about
I
3D
remember
software.
I remember
Yep.
the day I was I drew this 2-story and I'm like, something is not right. Like I had an air conditioner on the top and I'm just like I couldn't even pick an air conditioner because the tonnage was just so low. And then I realized that I had built the first floor into the second floor. I didn't even know you could do that, but I did it. I had to call tech support and I'm like, look, something's not making sense. Like I don't even have a roof load. How do I not have a roof load on a second
Oh,
floor? It's not
okay,
making any
gotcha.
sense. You know?
It's inside the other house. Yeah, that's
Oh,
why I like 3D.
yeah. That's where I mean,
That's
I'll
why
be
Quick
honest,
Model shined, and then you got the 3D
yeah.
scan. It was just like,
Mhm.
I do
woo, I
like
could
Quick Model
see
for
it,
that reason. I like being able to see my model,
right?
that part I
Yeah.
really like.
Yep.
All right, man. I've ate up too much of your time, Silas. So let's do final thoughts.
Sure. So I think if anybody that's watching that's in the building science, HVAC, and like interested, like I feel like I want to do this, but it's really hard to figure out like first steps, next steps, whatever. Like start where you're at. You probably already have some building science adjacent tools. There's a ton of overlap. One of my favorite tests to do after static pressure. So we're doing true flow, we're doing static pressure, we're doing airflow. Gives us so much information about what that system is doing right now, what it's capable of doing. Hey, if I determine I need 4 tons of air conditioning on this house and I've got 3 tons of duct, that doesn't match. What am I going to do? Can I fix it or not? And maybe I don't actually need 4 tons. Maybe I size my equipment to the airflow that I have rather than the other way around. But the next thing after figuring out, airflow capacity and static pressure, take some temperatures. You will blow a client out of the water if you go to the air handler or to the furnace down in the basement or whatever, and you take temperature. Just even dry bulb is okay, but if you can do dry bulb and wet bulb down in the basement at the air handler, and then go out to the furthest room away and take that same temperature measurement again and just show them like, hey, you lost 30% of your heating or cooling before it got to Billy's room. And they're going to start asking you questions. Now, some of those questions may not be like real great, but at least they're getting involved and they're being able to see like, hey, this isn't all about how many unicorn points or how many Sears I'm getting on this equipment. Like the rest of this stuff matters. And if the more you can show, like they're going to be like, nobody else even brought that into my house.
Right.
The other guy didn't even have a tape
guy Comfort Max workflow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you'll be shocked to find out that's where I learned that process.
Oh,
it's just
okay.
like, hey, let's show some people some stuff. And then they feel like they're engaged and they're watching and they're helping. The same thing when you're doing flow hood work, hand the guy the flow hood and like, hey, go measure me the living room supply register that you say never blows in the air. 0, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great way to get into this stuff because you're going to get charged up from that. You're going to see the reaction of your clients, the light bulb over the head moments that they're having. And that's going to feed into you wanting to start taking the next step, learning more stuff. So I guess that would be my advice. That's kind of how I got into this too, is just like, this is a really cool thing. And I can literally put the numbers on the problem that you're giving me. I measure how many BTUs go into a bedroom that's too hot. And then I balance it and I come back and we put 34% more BTUs of cooling into your room. Let me know how it feels. And we might be able to go the next step if it's not good enough or whatever. And they're like, what do you mean you put 34% more cooling in my daughter's room? I'm like, yeah, here, let's go look at it.
That's cool.
That kind of
thing.
thing.
So you're saying get the
huge,
homeowner to do a test and balance. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
No,
just, even if it's just listen here.
But
that's not a bad
bringing
idea.
The custer in on what you do.
Yeah.
I get it. I was just joking, but
For
getting
real.
them involved. Yeah.
So I outsmarted myself when I designed the system for my house. I went, manual T style, and I had a bunch of 2-inch, 2x10, 2x12 registers. And I went to go into the duct and start balancing. I'm like, I can't reach the dampers. I'm like, hey, babe, can you come over here for a minute? And so there's, a bunch of the registers in the house that my wife, my beautiful loving, caring, amazing wife got up on the ladder and did the air balancing herself on that.
All right.
So,
That's awesome.
You got the
cheers,
homeowner
cheers to
involved, that's what
Stephanie.
I hear.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
awesome.
Awesome. Well, man, that was good stuff, Silas. I mean, if you're watching and you didn't get the takeaways, let me just fill you back in. Customer interview, it's a must for Silas.
Yeah.
Play the game, come up with a strategy to get to short circuit. I love the strategy you had, 0
Love
to
it.
10, list your big categories, 0 to 10 them, keep the empathy there a little bit. That was a super cool tip. I really like that
Yeah.
part. If you don't like one strategy, maybe Silas's strategy of filtering, right? And use the filter, put your MERV 13 in place and try to short circuit some of that fluff that shouldn't go all the way to the main guy in charge who has to kind of deal with all the problematic homes. That way you're free up to do more. That's a smart way of doing it. I kind of did something very similar to that. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but yeah, I like that strategy. Mike,
That's cool.
what's your 2 cents before we close it down?
I love it, man. We're talking to a lot of guys doing home performance lately, and I feel like everybody's shop has their own different process, and there's no wrong way to do it. It really suits the owner of the company and what empathy they have for the homeowner. It's really, really awesome talking to you, bro.
Yeah, I love it. I really
Appreciate you helping out
guys.
John too, man. That was really cool.
I love it. He's just a great dude. I get a big hug every time I go up there. It's just awesome.
It's
Good
good
stuff.
people.
All right, everybody. That's the show for the night. Thanks for joining.